Hi, this is Chef Tom from Organic Living. Today we're going to demonstrate how to cut vegetables with a vegetable knife. We just did a video on sharpening any style knife. You could refer back to that if you want to learn how to sharpen a knife. Today we're going to cut some vegetables, which everybody does. And we picked some vegetables that most people use every day, like onions and carrots and celery and greens. So this, I learned cutting in a Japanese restaurant, but they cut very fast. You don't have to cut so fast, but if you just cut an onion in half, and then you lay it on its side, and then you put sort of an angle on your body to the cutting board, and you're going to run the knife on this part of your finger. And you would have to go slow at first until you get used to it. The technique is your thumb is going to regulate the thickness of the slice, right? And you're going to slide your hand back, but the knife is going to run like this, and your fingertips are a little pushed in so that you don't hit them with the knife. That wouldn't be too good. This, what you do is you can just practice slowly like this, right? You just move your hand back just a little bit, and you don't even move it. The knife, put a little pressure on the knife, and it moves your fingers back. But what you see, you can cut it like I could cut this thing super thin this way. But if you wanted a big slice, you could cut a big slice. Depends what meal, what you want the vegetables to wind up bite-sized or diced or whatever. But if you're doing it like this, it's very easy because you could go fast. Once it gets this way and it's a little unstable, you have to use safety when you're cutting anything. You want to put it down, and then it's more stable. It's not going to flip over on you and start over again on this side. And if you want it diced, right? This was sliced. They consider that half moons. But what I do is if I want to cut this and have it diced, or if I'm making we're going to make a chili tonight, I'm going to want it. I don't want it like this. But what you do is then hold your finger on the other side and cut it like this. There's a few things you could do. This is kind of small to show this, but you cut it like that and try keeping the slices together. And then you just turn it around and slice it this way, doing that same thing. And then you get a small cut. See, that's the way. You got to be careful at the end. At the end, you just go like this and just cut it. So really, I could show you. It's hard with that smaller piece to start like that because I wouldn't normally start like that. But see, so that's the two. If I was going to cut, and most of the time you're going to cut them like this way, not like this way. So what you do is I would just cut it like this. See, I would just keep one finger there and cut the whole half of onion like that, right? And then turn it around. And then I'd use that same technique like this, but I'm holding all the onion pieces together and just slice them like that. And you can make it really thin if you want, or you can make it chunky if you want a chunky soup. And then once it starts to get small, it's the same thing. Just flip it over and just continue like that until you get down to the end. And just be careful at the end because you can flip it over again. And so when it starts feeling like it's not stable, it might flip over on you. Then just flip it over. So that's it. So you could cut an onion that, it doesn't take very long at all to cut an onion. Carrot, a little different. Because carrots come in all different sizes. So what I usually do would be cut it in half. Then take it, and I would hold it like this because the carrot's round. There's a tendency of rolling on you. You don't want to cut your hand. Just cut it in half so that you have a flat edge. Put the flat edge down. So it's not going to move on you. And then just cut it. It depends on what size you want. So you want it the same size, let's say, as this onion for this dish. So I'm going to cut this probably in 4 pieces. So I'm going to cut it like that. I like to keep my vegetables together because it saves time. Then I don't have to cut each individual piece and then stack them up together, and then just cut it like that, the same size as your onion. If you were using mushrooms in it or whatever, you want to cut the vegetables all the same size. And then you just do the next one. If you want to make it like more even, you can cut it in half and then cut each half in half. And then just line them up. I mean, if you don't want to line them up, I mean, you could take one and just cut each one like this. That's another method. But if you want to cut them all together, I'm always into saving some time when they're cutting. You could just do it like that. I'm doing it slow, but you could do this fast. And let's say celery. Celery is a little different story because it's thick on one end and narrow on the other end. So what I would do is I just take it and start in the middle or anywhere where it's starting to bulge out at the bottom. Let's say here on this one, and I cut some slits in the bottom. Let's say I'll make 4 slits in this. Oh, that one came apart. And then I would cut that first. I put it down. And I'd cut that. And then when I get to where I started there, where there's no separation, and then I would just cut this in half, this whole piece. And then cut the rest of it like that. If it's a thicker piece than that, you could cut it in 3s. If you wanted to go fast, I'm showing you in a slow motion, but I wouldn't take that much time to cut it. Once it gets down to the end, then slow down and just cut it so it's the same sizes. And there you have your ingredients for most dishes, all that. The only other thing I'll show you quick is the greens. And greens, any type of greens, you could just cut. You want to cut the stem. Yeah, the same thing. It depends on how big your greens are. If they're wide greens, then you could just cut it like that and like that. And then pile it together again and just cut it like that. And that's it. You cut anything. All right, hope you enjoyed the cutting, and I hope it makes it a little easier and faster to get the dishes that you want. Thank you.